The Duolingo bird did need the chair because if it's using its wings to fly up, it wouldn't be able to install the noose. I like to start with one that would make absolutely no sense to anybody if they were watching this for the first time. As if anyone out there is watching it for the first time. It's pronounced Taylor Swift, not Tyler Swift. Thank you to the audio department for cleaning that up. And just thanks to her for rolling with it every time I said it wrong. Because I guess, according to my staff, no one gets it wrong. I'm joking, of course. That's what we do in corrections. However, I did pronounce Channing Tatum, Channy Tatum. Now, here's why. Channing, or Channy, I do believe he goes by both, was the first guest on a night when Chef Jean-Georges Van Riesen was the third guest. And as anyone who works here will tell you, if there's a tricky one coming up, I'm gonna eat on the easy one. That's just how it goes. My head is worried about Van Riesen, and so all of a sudden I'm like, Channy. In my defense, have you ever seen how Chef Jean-Georges spells his last name? It don't look like Van Riesen. It's got like all the letters in it. And you only pronounce like 4 of them. Apologies to Channy. Just some quick hitters. Space Shuttle can't make it to Mars. Planes was a Disney movie, not a Pixar movie. All commercial air pilots speak English. It's the language of the sky. Clearance happens when you're on the ground, not in the air. We said all buses are girls and all trains are boys. And then we showed this picture of Thomas, and someone said Mavis is actually in that picture. Mavis is a girl train, which I would have known if she put some makeup on. You're allowed to say that again. We said this was a Navy SEAL. I've been told it's a Navy sea lion. And then somebody just wrote in, why the chicken don't got no armholes? Does seem weird for like a fight. I mean, again, a chicken's never gonna be a good soldier, but like you gotta at least let it put its wings out. It's our security guard, Jim Breyer's birthday today. And I only mention it because every year he gets like super sensitive about how nobody remembers it. And like yesterday, it was a whole, I kept hearing him say to John, like, nobody's gonna remember. And like, John was like, they're gonna remember, don't worry about it, they're gonna remember. He's like, everybody's just talking about Taylor. Taylor, it's ruining my birthday week. Taylor was coming. I know from experience. You all know from experience. She was going to be dressed to the nines. So I figured, hey, a lot of people are going to be tuning in. Out of a sign of respect, I'll get a little bit more dressed up than I do historically. And I wore this outfit. I got a lot of compliments from you in the comments. Thank you very much. And then 9 of you basically said, hey, after the show, were you off to spend a night at the Roxbury? I mean, when they got you, I mean. By the way, I still love the outfit, and my wife, she loved the outfit, and then I came home, and she had been at the show, and I said, hey, I read this comment, right? I go, hey, you liked my outfit, right? She goes, I loved your outfit. And I said, people say I look like one of the Roxbury guys. And she was like, oh, yeah, you did. But at the end of the day, like, what is fashion? What is style? What is love? And jackals don't hurt me. I do love a fashion burn that ties in government shutdown news. Jackal comment of the week: is your stylist a non-essential federal worker? Obviously, a Swiftie wrote in, I would never wash my hands again if I was Seth Meyers, and my wife wants you to know I'm basically there. So we burned Wally a little bit. Last corrections, and Wally right afterwards just marched right up to me and he said that he was only asleep for 3 seconds during the Respect in the Workplace seminar. I guess the 3 seconds were, please do your best not to fall. M&R. Somebody also, the bit was I was whispering while he was snoring, and they're like, I don't think you'd have to whisper. I'm assuming he fell asleep when people were speaking at full volume. Oh, the back of my card last week said cue cards is exhausting, and people said cue cards are exhausting. But like cue cards, this is a serious one. Like cue cards is what like Wally's job is. It's like sales. So I stand by cue cards is exhausting. You were wrong. I've been making light of the fact that my dog Frisbee died. Someone wrote, when Jon Stewart's dog died, he did an emotional, heartfelt tribute to his life and legacy, just saying. Well, Frisbee was no Jon Stewart's dog. Gave Jim a hard time, but we did get him ice cream for his birthday. Which ice cream? Well, Breyers, of course. We just ran out to get this 10 minutes ago. It was available. I guess it's not flying off the shelf. Hey, kids, who wants Breyers? Oh! My kids were more excited. Axel was more excited to meet Jim yesterday than Taylor Swift, because I have told Axel the story about how Jim stepped on a paparazzi's foot, and then the paparazzi said, basically stepped to Jim, and Jim said, wait here 10 minutes, and Axel thinks it's the funniest thing that's ever happened. Axel was literally here. Taylor Swift is here, and he's like, where's Jim? Get out of my way, lady. Yeah, all right, now I'll just end with another line that would make no sense without the context of last week. As with any owl suicide, this is, by the way, this is a Jackal comment. As with any owl suicide, the question isn't how, it's who. See you next week.